Alright, so here's the second video of today. So, this video is what if female deku was a kuchisake onna. If I butchered that name, I'm sorry. Now, for those of you who don't know, kuchisake onna is a Japanese urban legend about a woman who goes around asking people if she is beautiful. And as you can see here, her mouth is basically slit. If you know her story, then you know about it. If you don't, I'll leave a link to a video that tells her story in the description. Now, okay, so the ship will be Izumi and Alright, so it'll be Izumi and Hatshak-sama. For those of you who don't know, she is also a Japanese urban legend. Her English name is the 8-foot-tall woman. So, let's begin. Oh yeah, and a couple things I want to cover before I begin. Eri will be the same age as everyone else in Class 1A. So, Overhaul will be older, and instead of the age he is in canon, he'll be older. So I think he's in his, early 20s, so in this one he'll be in his early to late 30s. Alright, so let's begin. So, we'll begin in the era of when All for One was around. So, we have a young woman with black hair being chased, and is currently dealing with an injury that was dealt to her mouth from an angry mob, due to her having a quirk. Now, if you guys don't remember, this was back when in the era of All for One, people with quirks weren't really classed as human yet, and weren't really top priority, so they were treated as the minority. So, she's running from the angry mob, and her quirk is called Ghost, which essentially allows her to phase through walls and turn invisible, due to the original version of Kuchisake Onna being a ghost. So while she's being chased by this mob, she runs into this. Hold on, I can't. Okay, so I can't zoom in on this one. So she runs into. Oh, there we go. She runs into this woman right here. Her quirk is quite similar to hers, as she's running, she bumps into her, as she does see the angry mob approaching, as she grabs her, as she basically teleports them away. Now, this is what I mean by her quirk being similar. She can teleport, as they both land in a forest, as Izumi stands up, as she would thank this woman for rescuing her, as she would respond with no problem, as she would ask what her name is, as she says that she doesn't really have a name, but people call her, give me a minute, I keep forgetting the name, sorry. She has the nickname Hatshak-sama, as Izumi would say. Well, how about, my name is Izumi, though people now nickname me, will probably now call me, Kuchisake Onna, as Hatshak-sama would say. You mean like the urban legend? I should say, yeah, that's probably going to be a eventuality. So it's probably going to be best that we stay out here. As Hashak-sama would respond with, yeah, that's probably a brilliant idea. Now, as years go by, they have built themselves like a little hut, a little house, like those little wooden shacks that you'd find in the woods where people live in. Yeah, they basically built that. And whenever they do go into town, they usually are invisible, so they usually like steal food. But it's kind of a problem with Izumi because she's constantly distracted by sweets and fruit, which, for those of you who don't know, is Kuchisake Onna's is one of Kuchisake Onna's weaknesses. As Hashak-sama will have to basically grab her by her collar, like the back of her collar, and drag her away with the food items in hand, as they would be living in their hut. Now, their quirk does grant them immortality, so they don't age. They won't age past their current ages, which are 27 and 28 respectively. Hashak-sama is 28 and Izumi is 27. With years basically passing by to where we get to I'd say we get to All Might's generation of quirk users. So while that's happening, while all that's happening, they've basically been making a living for themselves due to quirk users being allowed in public now. Due to them now being quirk users now being registered, now having rights, they do go out into public, but Izumi is usually wearing a surgical mask to cover up the face scars that she has. Now now from the mob incident, she does have a pair of scissors on her at all times. And Hashak-sama is usually like very not far behind Izumi. And due to her being Hashak-sama being very tall, for those of you who know her, she's about 8 feet. She's not that hard to miss. As they would go into town and the city from time to time, just to get themselves a living, until the point where they can eventually afford a house and move all their stuff from the little hut that they have into the new house that they have. As their relationship at this point would have gotten pretty strong, to the point where Izumi would have asked her Hashak-sama to marry her. And they did, and she agreed to this. So both of them are legally, both of them are are a married couple right now, as they've moved into their house. After they've gone all the stuff into the house that night, they turned on the news and found out that the pro hero Nanashimura had died in battle with a villain. As Izumi would have known about Nanashimura because a while ago she was cornered in an alleyway by a couple of thugs who were trying to rob her. As she did have her scissors behind her back, ready to stab them, but her mask was up, so they couldn't really see the face tears. As Nanashimura would have came in and you basically beat them, as the thugs would have been arrested. As Nana would have turned around and asked Izumi if she was alright, with her responding with either yes, she is alright. As that memory would stop, we'd stop with that flashback and move back to the present, with Izumi throwing her scissors down at the ground, saying, "Damn it! Why are they always the good people who always have to go so early?" As Sama would have basically brought in for a hug like this, as she'd say, "It's okay, it's okay, it's okay, there are still a lot of good people out there, that they will honor her by dealing with that villain." With Izumi beginning to calm down, as she would say, "Yeah, you're right." And we then cut forward to a couple more years, with Izumi walking through the city as a young girl bumps into her. Now, if you guys remember, this is exactly how Izuku met Eri in canon. And if you guys do remember, Eri is the same age as everyone else in Class 1A, so she's about 4 right now. No, she's about 7. Yeah, she's 7 when everyone else is 7. As Overhaul would come out from the alleyway and say that he's sorry that his daughter is acting like this, and that she's just very shy. With kuchisake onna basically picking up the fear off of Eri and picking up the anger from Overhaul. As kuchisake onna would say, you're that Yakuza boss Overhaul that I've been hearing about, aren't you?" As Overhaul would be surprised that somebody would know of him, as he would ask, "How the hell do you know me?" With Izumi responding with, "I've been around for a very long time, and I have met people like you." As she's holding up Eri, she's like taking out the knife, not the knife, the pair of scissors from her trench coat. Now she has like multiple pairs of scissors. As she'd say, "I've met people like you all throughout my life, and nothing makes you different from anyone else." As she would quickly throw the pair of scissors at Overhaul, which would land right in his chest, in the middle of it, but wouldn't pierce all the way through. It'd be like stuck at the bone. With Izumi Hakio-sama basically coming in, grabbing Izumi and teleporting out there with Eri. As Overhaul would be enraged by this, as the pair of scissors that are now embedded in his torso, he basically takes those out, and due to those scissors being infused with the paranormal, with Izumi's quirk, that is not going to heal. Every time Overhaul uses his quirk on it, it will not heal, so it will leave a scar. As Eri, as once they get back to their house, Izumi basically places Eri onto the ground, and as she would basically grab both her hands in her hand, as Eri is basically shaking at this point, as Izumi would say to Eri, "It's okay, that man's not here anymore. He's not gonna hurt you, and he's not gonna find you." As Eri would look up and ask, Who are they?" As Izumi would say that my name is Izumi, and as she would point towards Hakio-sama, as she would say, and this is my wife." As Eri would ask, what the wife for? Now, if you guys do remember, Eri has basically been in underground for most of her life, and I'm pretty sure Overhaul never told her what a relationship was or what friendship is. So Izumi would basically say a wife is somebody who makes you feel very special and is always there whenever you need help or assistance. As Eri would say, that sounds quite nice. As the way would say, it is a very nice feeling once you get to it, once you've been around the person long enough. As Eri would ask, so what are you to me now? As Izumi would pause for a minute and think for a bit, as she would say, well, I guess I'm your new mom now. As Eri would say, what is a mother? As Izumi would then explain that a mother is somebody who looks after you and teaches you things and is always there whenever you need it, like a wife, but even closer. As Eri would say, I would quite like that, in like a very quiet voice. As Izumi would say, good. Alright, come on, follow me, and we'll get you sorted out. As Izumi and Hachio-sama would be raising Eri for the rest of the years until UA starts. So UA is going to be a college in this one, like last time. So Eri is going to be 18 when she joins UA. So we'll get to when Eri is about 18 years old now. And Izumi and Hachio-sama still look the same as when they first found Eri, so they still look like this. Like they do. But Izumi does stitch her mouth up from time to time. Stitch her mouth sides up from time to time, so that it doesn't keep dropping anytime she's trying to speak or wear a mask, because that has happened too many times for her to count. So she usually keeps it stitched up when she's going out in public, but she undoes the stitches whenever she's in the house. So Eri and them are basically sitting down at the table, with Eri saying that she's wanting to apply to UA to become a hero. With Izumi pausing for a minute, and saying to Eri that you know that being a hero is quite dangerous and you could get hurt or possibly killed. With Eri saying that she knows that and she's going to help others just as the two of you helped me. As Izumi would say, well, I do believe that that's fair enough. What do you, as she'd look to Hachio-sama, as she'd say, what do you think, dear? As she'd respond with, I think that it is a good idea. It is a great idea, because we've both been really good influences on her. If we weren't, she would have ended up like a villain. As Izumi would say, yeah, you are right. So go for it. And remember, we're both rooting for you. As Eri would basically get up and hug the both of them, and say thank you to, as they would start. The next day Eri heads for the entrance exam, and due to Hakio-sama basically quit. No, not Hakio-sama. Izumi basically technically being the company that she worked for had gone out of business, so she was laid off. She decided, her and Hakio-sama thought, maybe we should become teachers at UA. They would say, yeah, I think that'd be a good idea. With them both ultimately agreeing that they would become teachers at UA after Eri passes the entrance exam. And that is where I'm going to end this first part off. I do hope you guys enjoyed this. This part has been a mess due to me not being able to properly pronounce the names, probably. But I will see you guys next time with part 2 to this if you guys enjoyed it.